Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're just going to take a quick run through some of the top scams that the IRS is warning about around now, and some that we are seeing a great deal of. First, we want to remind you that the IRS never initiates contact by email. They will never text you. They will never reach out to you on social media to request your personal information. They rarely initiate contact with a phone call. Generally, if the IRS is needing information from you, it starts with a physical letter coming in via the Postal Service. If you receive a phone call, you can always get their badge number and call the IRS directly and make sure that that was a valid contact before providing any of your information. So the main one that we're seeing right now, and the biggest one that I wanted to talk about, is the employee retention credit. There are firms out there advertising heavily across all forms of media, but particularly aggressively with phone calls, trying to convince business owners to use their service to qualify for the employee retention credit. It's a valid credit. It was designed to help businesses continue to pay their employees during the pandemic. And a lot of businesses have benefited. We are still identifying some that do qualify legitimately. But these firms are promising $26,000 per employee, and they are using some arguments that may not hold up in audit. And as these are large numbers, if you claim the credit with one of these firms and the IRS later audits that credit and determines that you weren't eligible, paying that back with penalties and interest is going to be steep. These firms are charging a very large fee. They're promising that they will defend your claim if your return is pulled for audit. But in most cases, they are folding before the IRS can audit your claim. Some of these employee retention credit returns are starting to go through audit now, and the anecdotes that we're hearing out in social media right now are that those audits are not going well. So definitely be really, really careful. We are happy to review your situation if you're a current client, if we haven't already reviewed it, to make sure that if you were eligible, particularly under the revenue reduction provision, that you do get that credit. But if you're trying to claim it based on the government mandated closure, it's going to be a long road to keep that credit. So that was the big one. There are a couple of others. The IRS is reminding everybody to be careful when they're giving to charity. Make sure that you're giving to the charity that you actually mean to give to. There are charities out there that, or non-charities out there that name themselves very, very close to a legitimate, well-known charity. So make sure that you're going directly to the actual charity site. If it's a new charity to you, you can always look them up on the IRS website and make sure that they have their 501c3 designation. You can also look them up on Charity Navigator, but definitely just make sure that you are actually donating to the organization that you mean to be. The IRS always is also warning people about offering compromise mills, very similar to the firms that are selling these employee retention credits. There are still firms out there selling people with tax debt on reducing their tax debt to pennies on the dollar. Offering compromise, again, is a valid thing with the IRS. If you are in a position where you owe a large tax debt and truly do not have the ability to repay, there is a mechanism to apply for reduction on that. The thing is that there is a calculator on the IRS website. You can put in your information, how much tax debt you have, what assets you have, what your income looks like, and the calculator will tell you if it's likely that you could or couldn't qualify. Generally, if there is any hope that the IRS could collect that debt from you, they are not likely to settle. But these firms, again, they make big promises, they charge big fees, and then they don't follow through. They can't get the approval. So beware, beware, beware. One of the other ones on this list is ghost tax professionals. Those are people that you have them prepare your tax return. They don't sign it as a tax professional. If you review your tax return in the same place that you would sign on your 1040, your tax professional is supposed to sign as well and provide their tax ID number, practitioner ID number. If they're not signing the return, chances are good that it's because they are doing something fraudulent on your return. They may be charging you a percentage of your refund, and because they're charging that way, they are adding deductions that aren't real, or taking credits that aren't real, adding dependents that aren't yours. These things are happening out in the world, as strange as they sound. So if you're working with a tax professional that is not signing your return, be cautious. The last one that's not IRS related is QuickBooks. We get calls, I get them all the time on my personal cell phone, saying your subscription has lapsed. We need your credit card information. First of all, Intuit does not call people. We pay for the subscription for a great number of clients, and even when we have a credit card number change and don't get it changed fast enough, they don't call me and say your card is not valid. We get an email. The worst that happens if you don't pay your subscription is that the next time you log in, you get a pop-up window that says, hey, put in new payment information. Intuit will not call you. So if you are receiving a phone call saying that we are QuickBooks support and your subscription has lapsed and give us your card information to fix it, I guarantee you it's a scam. This is a scam that scam baiters like Kitboga have also covered as well. We highly recommend following some of the scam baiters for more information about some of the other scams that are out there. But the bottom line is, if somebody calls you and you don't know who they are, don't automatically trust who they say they are, and don't give them any of your personal information without confirming that they actually are who they say they are. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have run into some of these situations that maybe others would benefit from hearing about. I'm going to leave some links down below. Let me know if you have any ideas of questions that you would like to see answered in future weeks, and I hope you have a wonderful week.